All right, I'm gonna need your help because we gotta boo this man. Phil, you're getting booed.
Phil,
Boo!
Phil!
You can boo this man.
Phil,
Boo!
stop!
Yeah.
Show
Yeah,
me your
such a good for
tits.
crack. What? I mean, he ain't seen the
You
Diddy
took it too far.
documentary.
You took it too far.
He has not watched any of the Diddy documentary that 50 Cent put out. And I'm so unhappy. I'm unhappy that I watched it too, but fuck.
It's so good.
I
Like
have
they,
no
like they
doubt
did
that
it.
it's good, but it just came out like this week.
Well, Phil, some of us don't have enough lives. I watched it at night. I watch shows once my kids go to bed because sleep. Who needs that?
Yeah, it, it's like an hour episode. You watch like one episode a night, and then you feel fucking depressed as shit at the end of it. I was not prepared for the depression at the end. I was like, fuck this
I
world.
know. I didn't realize. But what's funny is the whole time I was watching it, I was thinking, how on earth did 50 Cent get this behind the scenes footage? Like I was wondering the whole time, how did he get a hold of this? Like, how did Diddy allow him to have this footage? And then, Steven, why don't you tell the people?
So
Anybody who hasn't seen it or is going to watch it.
yeah. So I believe what I heard was Puff had actually like had these people following around for documentary and chose not to purchase and buy all of this other stuff, film, whatever.
Chose not to pay them.
Yeah, and so they sold it to 50, and so 50 bought it all, and so he had all this shit that probably never would have seen the light of day. Plenty of it
Man,
otherwise.
the most dangerous human is not only somebody who's petty, but a petty rich person.
Man, and I told you guys like I don't understand, and I guess I should understand it better. Like with current and semi-current events, like people with money just seem to fucking get away with everything. But like in my mind, I'm like, dude, like some of that shit, you do that shit to me, man. Like one of us fucking dead. Like one of us is gonna
Yeah,
die.
he has gotten very lucky because like when the Tupac thing was going on, I was very young. I loved Tupac, but I was only in well, let's see what year he passed. So I think I was only in like 4th or 5th grade, maybe. What year did
Did Kaylee's mic just go really, really light for you?
Yeah, really, really quiet.
You gotta fix your shit, Kaylee. Fucking
did it go
Christ.
back to normal?
Now
Get your shit together. Put it in
So
the
I
bag.
figured
Get
out
your
what
shit
just
together.
happened. When my phone, for some reason, this phone is near my microphone, it cuts. For some reason, it like syncs it out. I just moved my phone away from it.
Yeah.
So Tupac died in '96.
I mean, that was pivotal year. Like, I did not grow up around people that listened to Journey and shit. I grew up around people that listened to fucking like Tupac and B.I.G. and Diddy.
Like two
Like
older
that.
sisters.
Yeah, that was it. Nas, fucking all the rest of that. And so like this was part of my childhood, like that fucking East
Yep.
Coast, West Coast.
So I was 11 when Tupac died. So I would have been in 5th grade,
Yeah.
6th grade.
Because I would be out there getting my fucking hair braided and fucking cornrowed and shit. I had long hair.
Meanwhile, I grew up with like Alan Jackson and Toby Keith. Just
Of course you fucking did, Phil. Of course you did.
So
Look what's wrong
surprised.
with me and Steven. We grew up on rap.
I remember having to hide like whatever. I got my first Tupac album. I had to hide it from my parents. And I could only listen if I had my headphones on because I knew like if they hear me listening to rap music, they're gonna just think like they would be like, "Oh my god, my son's listening to that rap. He's gonna want to get into gangs and violence." It's like
so funny.
we're in Podunk, Durant, Florida. There is not a
me and
gang.
Steven, our parents didn't give a flying fuck.
Well, I mean, my mother didn't know what the fuck we were getting into. She's like, hey, as long as he's not getting fucking arrested, cool.
Yeah, as long as we're going to school and not in trouble.
I never went. I fucking hated school, man.
But it got me away from home.
Yeah, dude. I was just, but it made me think. I'm like, man, and I know everybody's saying it, but like, I don't know if I'm being petty enough. For me to be fair, and I think I brought this up with you guys. At a certain point, like if say half of the shit in there is true, just half. At a certain point, it's not even being petty anymore. I would like say that's probably more of like somebody wanting to see justice done for someone that's obviously a fucking terrible human being. So highly recommend pay $8 or $9 for Netflix for the month. What? Check that shit out.
Right, is good.
Um,
Phil, you have Netflix? If not, I'll get him a password.
Yeah, I got the flicks.
You got kids, of course you got Netflix.
I have to. Fucking Unicorn Academy.
fuck is
I don't know about that, but that's because Pearl's older. It must be something for younger.
mm-mm. See, look,
Yeah.
Kelly's just all fucking over the place today, man. Having
Sorry.
issues.
I was trying to silence my phone and instead it played music.
They
Yeah.
do that sometimes.
I'm trying right now. Anybody listening, find my Instagram and message me. My phone is like not ringing and messaging. It's because the focus setting is on and I don't know how to get it off.
You know, you could probably Google that on your computer at
I
any.
was doing it right before I started this podcast. I'll
What
continue
what
it later.
what phone model do you have?
The new iPhone.
I'm an Android guy. I don't. What is
I
that number
know because in
30?
our chat, my words were green, and I knew one of you fuckers had an Android.
Both of us. You're the odd one out.
Yeah.
Oh, you guys are the
Yeah.
losers.
Although I use the Google messaging app thing, so it's not SMS, it's whatever the same thing that Apple uses.
MMS.
Yeah. So mine will come up the same color as yours anyway. So fucking take that, loser.
Yeah, yeah.
Could you imagine
Yeah,
if we made a documentary?
I cannot. Nope. Nope. Nope.
So I thought it was a nice segue in because for me, it made me feel really negative at the end of it. I was like, fuck, man. I was like, dude, say half that shit is true. I was just sad. I was like, how the
Yeah.
fuck do you only get 50 months after all?
That video of him beating up his girlfriend is too much for me. That when that was out during the court stuff, I'm just like, how is this man? How did they not end up in prison? Like, the hotel people had to see when that was going down. And they're just like, it's Diddy.
It's literally it. It's two different sets of laws and rules, and they can afford attorneys that we can never fathom being
Yeah.
able to afford, and they're paying off the right people. And oh well, we found this
Right.
one little technicality, this one little loophole that we're not going to throw the book at you.
So
Yep.
I think for it was because they were interviewing one of the jurors at the last one. And I was like, man, like they're like, oh well, why would you stay with that? I was like, because that's what like happens to people who are being abused. They stay in the situation. Like that's
Yeah.
abuse
People who've never been
behavior.
abused won't. We're the only people that will say, why did they say?
Right. But I think the other thing is like when you have so many people that are financially like locked into something, and it's like, oh well, and like it goes back to like the idea of cognitive dissonance, right? People who were paid less to lie about something actually had to uh, like validate it further and have stronger feelings towards that lie versus the ones who got paid more because the ones who got paid more like, oh well I got good money for this so fucking whatever or I got paid enough for this and
Yeah.
so I think there's it really just shows that like in human nature that money absolutely for many people I think um it outweighs morals or ethics in a lot of situations which is fucking unfortunate as I turn to my New
Do
York
that.
but like Kaylee coming up with the idea today. Love it. I love it. Like, I don't know, navigating negativity, navigating naysayers.
Yeah. How to know how to have a conversation when you feel like someone is either pressuring you to step outside of your fitness goals or you inside being too nervous to just follow through with what you want to do because you're scared they'll judge you. Even if they're not outwardly doing it, you feel like they are or they will.
Ooh. Yeah, I kind of unintentionally earlier today, I think did a little bit of a story similar to this about like, but mine was more like relationships, marriage, friendships, that kind of thing. Like understanding who you are. And I think like this is where a lot of maybe the problem starts for people is
I
you're
think
trying
so.
to change who you are. We call it habit formation stuff, but it's not really. It's changing your entire lifestyle. It's changing your identity. And so I think when you're in the midst of that, new to that, and even sometimes almost knee deep in it, I think the lifestyle, the identity it's not in stone. It's not so situated to where you're like, "Yeah, this is fucking who I am, and if you don't like it, well, I mean, then I'm not for you," which a lot of people don't get to anyways, but I think that that's a hard place to be for people, and it's definitely one where it's like, "Alright, well," I can't say I've always navigated that well for that transition of trying to become this person that isn't who I have been.
Yeah, I know in the beginning. Oh, sorry, Phil. Go ahead.
I think that's a lot of where people will struggle is in that identity because you're trying to end one identity to shift into a completely new one. And this is where my one of my all-time favorite books, I'd put it top two, is Atomic Habits. Because that's one of the things that James Clear talks about is, hey, you've got to form a new identity of yourself. If you're someone like, let's take somebody trying to quit smoking, until they say, I'm not a smoker, they're going to still have the identity of they are someone who smokes. Like I'm very fortunate. I've never smoked anything other than like 2 cigars a year. So like it's a hard habit to break. And it's hard to break that habit, especially whenever it's like, oh, well, the only way I get a break at work is if I am a smoker and I get a 15-minute cigarette break or a 10-minute break. Like a lot of people who work in restaurants will struggle with smoking cigarettes because that's
The
the only
smokers get
way.
a break. Yep.
Yeah, only smokers get a break. So until you say, I'm not a smoker, but you have to go through enough actions and you have to have that moment of my new identity is I don't smoke. And it's same thing with your fitness goals. Like, you know, I came from the background of being, again, so big that the scale couldn't register my weight at 16 years old. My identity at the time was I play video games, I sit on my butt, I I lift weights, but I don't do anything else. I don't eat right. If there's leftovers and there's not enough to justify storing, well, let's put them all on Phil's plate. Drinking Mountain Dew, like all the bad habits that you can possibly think of, that was me. I had to end that, and there were certain people around me that they didn't like the fact that I wasn't willing to eat a bunch of crap with them anymore, or, "Hey, I'm trying to drink water, I'm trying to eat healthier, I'm going to go for a walk instead of playing this video game or going to your LAN party," to really date myself for any fellow nerds listening.
You were so much fun, though. You get your
I
friends
loved
together,
it.
you get fucking energy drinks, you'd piss their parents off for whoever's house you were at because you'd always be yelling at each other for somebody stuck in fucking plasma grenade on your face and Halo and shit. It was such a good time.
Kaylee has no idea what we're talking
Yeah,
about.
literally.
So
Well,
LAN stands for local area network. You would literally bring like your computer over to your friend's house, set it all up, and you would just connect with each other with Ethernet cables. And that's how you would play the game with each other. Like that was what we had to do.
Agriculture. Got it. That's when I struggle the most with. I think like sticking up for myself is how I'm gonna order for myself personally because I would get like I was a partier. That was what my identity was. If it's Friday, Saturday, I'm out with a new outfit on and I'm going late night and like that's just who I was. And so when I got into bodybuilding, I started dating Jake and I had just started dating. So like I was slowing down a little bit, but not a lot. So when I got decided I was going to do my first show, I've had a friend literally, and she was like my ride or die best friend. So I thought, but she would say like, "Hey, we're going here. If you're not going to drink, don't show up." Because I had tried to go a couple times and just have water or energy drinks, and I had like baby carrots in my purse because I was in prep, but I wanted to hang out with my friends. And so I was doing everything I thought on my end to support my goal, but I hadn't quite crossed that threshold of like really saying like this is what I want to do and this is who I am. That same friend during that same prep would bring like food to my house and eat it and like, don't you wish you could have some? And so I never said anything. I let it bother me at the time, but I never said anything. Now I would have no issue with that, but I think some of that is I get grumpier with age. And the longer that you're doing something and it's a habit, it doesn't feel weird anymore to tell somebody, I don't do this or I don't want that because it's who you are. That'd be like you feeling weird for like, oh, I brushed my teeth this morning. Like, of course I did.
No, but
You
then you don't
know?
get to dragon breath your significant other and be like, "Oh,
Ugh,
I love you."
stink. Every time people make out in the morning on movies, I'm like, no one's fucking doing it.
Gross.
No
Absolutely
one's doing it.
not.
I'm a
Absolutely not.
Mm-mm.
Especially when they partied in the movie the night before.
Oh, yeah, that makes it
Gi
worse.
give me that vomit
Boom.
breath.
Oof. Oh,
So, did you ever try to, like I'm I'm asking from also, like, kind of my own personal experience. Did you ever try to, like, fake that you were drinking, but you
So
weren't
the
drinking?
so the time before she sent the text, if you're not gonna drink, don't bother showing up. I pretended like I was drinking when we had went out a couple weeks before that, and I asked the bartender, "Can you just give me water in like a rocks glass with a lime?" So it looked like because I usually drink vodka water, that was a common drink of mine. So I had them make it look like I don't know how she knew because I didn't mention it. I had some, like if they would get shots of like vodka Red Bull, because that was also one of the things I'd tell the bartender, like, hey, just give me Red Bull. So she at some point must have heard me or caught on. I'm not sure,
she just
but I didn't
drunk,
make
dude.
it weird. Do what?
Just knew you weren't drunk. It's obvious. Like,
Yeah,
drunk.
probably. I'm a pretty fun time when I'm drinking. Um, been known to steal a scooter or two.
Kaylee still has her shoes on. She's not drunk.
I know, right? Man, I am a good time, but like such a good time where you know you just shouldn't drink.
See, like for me, as I was getting into it, um, oh God, this may surprise some. I was in the church a lot, um, and because I was playing for a large church in the band every other week. I was one of the bass players, and most of my friends were other people who rode motorcycles. And so we would do like Monday night dinners every time because normally we'd go out riding after that. And it'd always be at like a wing place, like Bar Foods or an IHOP or something, whatever. And it would just change based on the week to week. But none of them ever fucking gave me shit about it. None of them. Um,
Solid set of dudes.
dudes and girls, I think most of them didn't care enough. Not we weren't all super close, but like all of my close friends, like Sherry, Angelica, Thorn, Mike, none of them gave a fuck. They were like, all right, cool, that's what you're doing. And for me, that was weird because like we were not, I don't know how to like your prototypical like nice people. Like if you look at it, you're like, oh, those are your friends? And I'm like, yeah. But legit, they were just fucking good people. Uh and so I didn't have, I think, personally, the same fight or like kickback on when I was getting into my journey of like becoming more
Yeah.
conscientious of health and fitness and the rest of the stuff, or getting into bodybuilding. Um, and but I also think that was because they asked a lot of questions about it. Like as I was getting it, like they saw me as I was starting to get into shape and like do things a little bit different. I still ate the same whatever, but I had more, I was always a skinny guy. They're like, oh, he's getting more muscle, blah, blah. So they were kind of seeing that change over time. And like they would ask questions about like what I was doing or how things were going. So I think that was a little bit of like it bridged that middle ground of people just being like, oh, well, why the fuck aren't you doing any of this stuff that we used to all do for fun and have a blast with?
Yep. And with the holidays, I've had a lot of clients because they get nervous, right? Especially anybody who's competed recently. You're already like hyper kind of focused and sensitive with food. And some advice I gave is a couple things. One, wherever you're going, if it's a family member, you can tell them ahead of time. Like, let's say you're going to your mom's house, your parents' house. You can be like, hey, reminder, I'm in prep, or reminder, I'm post show, or reminder, I'm tracking for whatever reason. I want to stay on plan. So, like, don't worry about me. I'm going to bring my own stuff. Cool. No one's going to be like, fuck you. And even if you want to still participate and like bring something, I'll use Thanksgiving as an example. You could pick a dish that you know the macros to, that's still good for everybody else. Don't like, I probably wouldn't recommend bringing like diet food for everybody to share, depending on your family. But bring something that you know the macros to that you like, and then
Kaylee's a motherfucker that brings the vegetable platter.
Yep.
I know, yeah,
Yeah.
I would,
She brings the
would.
celery and carrots.
I know. But you could get creative and try to fuck off, both of you. Like, I don't know, a healthier stuffing or something. I don't know. I don't need stuff.
So I I will die on this hill. I think that if you know how to cook and you put enough time into it, you can make anything that's macro friendly taste so good that nobody would bat an eye over it. Like I'm known for my buffalo chicken dip. In the entire big thing, there's less than 20 grams of fat. And I mean, this is a big freaking dip.
Nice, Steven.
I don't believe him.
Or Steven Phil, sorry.
Yeah.
Fuck. I was looking at Steven's dumb face and
My
listening to
face
you.
of disbelief. Well, I'm not saying it tastes bad, but there is a
He's saying
difference.
he wants the fat.
There is a difference between like diet food and regular food. And we've had this conversation. You agreed with me. So like I do think there is a limit on like how good stuff can be before it starts tasting like semi fake.
Right, within reason, and, like, I would never try to be like, "Oh, hey, here's this, here's this protein brownie." Like, no, I'm gonna just make regular brownies. But for actual, like, dishes that you would bring for a meal, more like meal-focused stuff, if I make one of my burgers out of 93.7 beef, and I do think if you get leaner than 93.7, it's too dry.
I like 97% lean though.
So,
You have to cook it really rare.
you
You
have
can't overcook it. You gotta be really careful.
right, right.
Yeah.
But, like, if I make my burgers, there's less than 10 grams of fat in the burger, and it's phenomenal.
Yeah, I
What I'm
use
just saying is, like, there are absolutely macro-friendly recipes that if you make them, even someone who gives 0 Fs about their calories or their training or their recovery, like, as antithesis of fitness as you can get, would still go, "Hey, that tastes pretty good."
Yeah. That I'll agree with for sure. But I will disagree with Kaylee. I think it very much so depends on your family and what the kind of social structure is there. There are definitely families where if you come and you don't eat what somebody else made, you have disrespected them. You done fucked
That's
up.
why you have that family. If you're in prep, you could ahead of time, like, tell them, like, hey, some family members even my family maybe would, maybe not, but might even offer, like, what could I make you that you could have? Like, I've had clients who say that, like, hey, I told my mom, or whoever I was in prep, and they're like, hey, what can I make you? What can you make fit? And in the reverse, like Phil said, making a healthier dish might inspire somebody else. They might be like, this is lower fat, or this is, it sparks people's interest because they assume that diet food tastes like shit. So if you bring something that's healthier than the original version and it tastes good, you might inspire somebody else to be like, you know what, fuck it, I can do this.
Yeah. I do a queso that comes out phenomenal every single time. And the main base of it is cottage cheese, and I'm not like
Mm.
a cottage cheese in everything person, but this is one of those
Yeah, it gives
things
the
for
consistency.
like parties, Super Bowl.
You have to blend it up, I'm assuming, so you don't have
Oh
chunky
yeah.
ass case.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you blend it up, you use a little bit of cornstarch to thicken it too.
Hmm, yeah,
So
to give it like
that
cheese consistency.
seasonings, yeah, you toss some either low
I like
fat
it.
or fat-free cheese in there, like the shredded kind,
Yeah,
and it just makes it all, like, nice and stringy and everything, but you do something like that, like you said, it could inspire someone. They see you eating it, and they go, "Wait, wait, 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 wait. You brought this? Well, I thought you were focused on bodybuilding," or, "Oh, I heard you were trying to lose weight, and you're eating this? Oh." You can flip the script on them and go,
yep.
"Well, yeah, this is actually low fat," or, "Well, this is actually low carb. What did you think of it?"
So and I'm jumping off somewhere else here now. I feel like I feel like where most people get negative about it, it's where they think something's wrong, right? Um, so something's wrong with you if you're not the person I'm used to you being. And that's like, I don't think that's an abnormal or an unhealthy reaction, right? Like if my wife comes home and all of a sudden she is, dead quiet, has nothing to say, doesn't say a word for hours on end, I'm gonna be like, what's wrong? Like, what's going on? This isn't normal for you. If I'm quiet, somebody's probably gonna be worried about me because 'cause I'm loud as fuck. Uh, you know what I mean? If Kaylee was being nice, I'd be like, "What's wrong with you?"
I tell Jake all the time, "Wouldn't it be weird if I was nice?" He's like, "Yeah."
Yeah. Like, if you came up and just gave me a long hug, I'd be like, "Oh, shit, who died?"
I know.
You know?
Have you
Um,
seen him make a post? "Join my sisterhood."
oh my god, I do wanna start a cult, but separate discussion.
Hey, a cult is a great way to evade taxes.
Totally. That's not even the
Ooh.
only reason I wanna start one, but,
You know, I think if I could find somebody to bury on my property legally, I think you get a tax break.
Yes, actually, as a cemetery. Yeah,
um,
Jake?
it's a massive property tax break in most states.
yeah, yeah. I don't have enough room to bury a body in
We have
my
so
backyard.
much room.
Yeah. Um, but so, like, the hard part there is and that's what I think creates a lot of the friction. It's like they're even possibly like worried about you. They're like, oh, like, are they okay? They're not the person I've known them to be. Things are changing. They're not doing the things they normally do. Like, they normally really have fun with this stuff, or they really enjoy
Yeah.
the apple pie or the whatever, the pumpkin pie, whatever, and they're not having it. Like, fuck, I'm concerned about them. Are they okay? Yeah, some people,
Especially if you're deep into prep and skinny
yeah. Um,
already.
some people might be full of hate and whatever. That's a different situation. If you have those people in your life, I'm sorry for you. And you know, hopefully that doesn't persist. But I would like to give most people the benefit of the doubt that they actually give half a shit about me. Um, and so, like, that's where not having a conversation and not like having that communication like makes it so much harder because they're worried about you, you're worried about you, and you are both thinking that the solution to that is very different things.
Yeah, I think that's the thing is recognizing that there's a good chance they're asking from a point of caring about you. Because I'm just thinking about like my cousin. Whenever he went through his divorce, he went through a lot of depression, and he did get into fitness like big time, and it was so good to see. But for some family members that they hadn't seen him in like a year, they were like, "Whoa, what is this about? Like you've lost a lot of weight and you're not drinking anymore. Are you okay? Is everything all right?" Um, there was a lot of family members that were concerned for him, and there were people, "Oh, try to go ahead and, hey, have this pie. Oh, I made this pie for you." Or, "Oh, well, let's have a couple of drinks. I'm gonna go out. I'm gonna go get a nice bottle of bourbon or whatever." And whenever he said, "Well, no thanks, I don't do that anymore." That was a moment that I was super freaking proud of him because that told me that he shifted his identity of how he viewed himself. Like this was somebody that, yeah, he used to drink a lot and now he didn't. That was huge. And now the rest of the family is starting to see that same thing in him. And there's going to be that season where people will not break their view of you, because that's the other thing is you're changing your self-identity. You're also having to wait for other people to change their view on you, and that's the hardest part, I feel, because you can't control that. You can't control the rate that they're going to change their view on you. It took some of my family members like almost 10 years to not still see me as the 300 plus pound 16-year-old. It took them a long time to see like, oh, hey, Phil's the guy that if I'm struggling with something, like he's going to help me out with my mindset, or he's going to help me out with my nutrition, or like, you know, again, the thing of this is never medical advice, but if they're like, I had an aunt that she said, "Oh, my doctor said my blood work's perfect, but my energy sucks. Can you look at what my blood work is?" I'm not here to diagnose, but I look at her blood work and I go, "Hey, your A1C is in the double digits. Your fasting glucose is almost 200. You you're you got a potential health problem here that your doctor's not addressing.
Yeah.
You should probably book an appointment with an endocrinologist and figure out what's going on." Me at 16 wouldn't have done that. Would have been, "Oh, your doctor says you're fine, you're fine." But
Yeah.
they know that if they're having something like, "Hey, Phil, should I be concerned about X?"
And I think What was I gonna say? I just lost my train of thought. Whatever I was thinking,
She
it
thought
just
lots of really good stuff that was gonna
it
help you guys
left.
out, so be helped.
It left the building.
Well,
Um,
like,
so
there's
do you
also
guys
the
have
point,
any
though, where, like, it
sorry, go
goes
ahead.
too far, and so I think this is where, like, you talk about, "Oh, he was going through a divorce." Like, I know people that have gotten divorces because of their fitness stuff, right? Like,
Really?
oh, fuck
Like,
yeah.
because they took it too far or because the other person wouldn't accept it?
Yeah, they took it too far. Normally
Oh.
competitive bodybuilding, and multiple reasons. So some of them, it's just because they stopped caring about anything else, and that became their entire identity in life. And to be fair, they probably weren't being a good partner or a good parent or a good friend. And so
Yeah.
a bunch of people fucking were like, "Yo, well, this is how you're gonna be. Like, fucking, you ain't for me." Oh yeah, that shit happens. Um,
Yes.
I knew somebody that they got divorced basically over someone's fitness because his wife was so obsessed with calories and macros, and they had 3 daughters, and he started to see that in
Mm.
his daughters, try to have a conversation with her about, "Look, I think that you have an eating disorder." She got mad at him, kicked him out of the house for bringing up that, "I think you have an eating disorder, and our daughters are starting to call themselves fat while they're really young. They're afraid of certain foods. This is not good." She couldn't see that same viewpoint. They ended up getting a divorce, and to my knowledge, he ended up with custody of the girls.
Yeah, I think it's a thin line sometimes taking it too far. I know, man, we could probably do a whole episode on that. But because I just saw that just reminded me, I saw a post from a friend yesterday, and she's into fitness. Um, she's a runner, but she was talking about being sick and still continuing to run while she's sick. And people must have messaged her just concerned, and she's like, no, I'm good. This is like a rest for me to run a 5K. And then she posts her like stats out of some sort of app. And I'm just crazy like this, I guess. So I did the math. She only took one rest day a week this entire year.
yeah, and so there's that, which, and don't get me wrong, like, so somebody will get pissed off at me for this, but fuck it, I'm gonna say it anyways. Um, Fitness is like religion for a lot of people. And so as the fact where in like people that are coming out of rehab, people that struggle with addiction, they can get very fucking into it. They just tend to have that addictive personality, right? And I don't know, like, sure, me too, to a large degree on many things, right? So like you can get too into something. Right? And so I think this is what happens with fitness for people. But if you're like, okay, cool, I'm not doing heroin anymore. I'm just going to the gym 7 days a week. That's probably a net benefit. I will say, cool, that's good.
Yeah.
But what I think, get defensive about oftentimes, or people do, or can, is when somebody says, okay, cool, that is a net positive. That is absolutely amazing. I'm so fucking proud of you. I'm really happy about that. But going to the gym 7 days a week is still unhealthy for you. And like, there's still something to challenge there. And I think that's the hard part because as we age, we have to relearn coping mechanisms. Certain things that served us well as that younger individuals no longer serve us well as adults. And like, we're like, "Oh, but this thing has saved me from something. This has replaced so many other bad things for me, and now you're fucking challenging that." So not only are you challenging my identity to a large degree, you're charging the thing that saved me possibly from
Yeah.
so many other things. And like, that's the hard part because it's so easy to get defensive about that and be like, "No, no, no, this is a good thing." And it's like, "No, no, I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but like maybe you should fucking go to therapy too, you know?"
Yeah, so I don't know if you guys have any example of you taking it too far or being too far in, because it's like when I talk about this, I haven't gotten like so consumed I've lost, my relationships or anything like that, but I know my bodybuilding year 2018, I think. Something anyway, Pearl was born. And I can remember, and I'm embarrassed about this now, but at the time I thought I was so hardcore and nothing was going to stop me. But she got put in the hospital my peak week, and I know. It was her breathing, it was her oxygen. So she was in the hospital for a week. And I would have like I told myself if she's not released, obviously I wasn't gonna do the show, but I still like I would have people relieve me from the hospital so I could go do my training in cardio. Did I deserve a break? Yes. Did it probably need to be that? No. Literally, the nurse walked in on me. I took my progress photos in the hospital room because my check-in was due and it was peak week. I think I had to send like 2 a day or something like that. So, but the nurse walked in as I'm in this sparkling suit and it hit me like, "Kaylee, you took this too far." Like you could have just told your coach, "Hey, I can't send one today. Like I might still do the show." Like I had a choice there and at that time I just didn't make what I considered the best choice, but it made me realize like, okay, take a step back. But it was like I was my show right after I'd had Pearl. I think it was like 7 or 8 months postpartum. Like I was so caught up in proving everybody wrong because they had told me you're gonna get big, and I used other people's hatred to fuel me doing something that did not value my value. Like it wasn't my values of me and my family. So it's easy to do, and you're gonna do it sometimes still. Like nobody, I don't think, is ever gonna be perfect where they're never gonna accidentally put something like put fitness over something else. Like I think we've all have and will do that at some point. But it's recognizing when maybe it's a good idea to like, okay, maybe maybe I should have just set that one out.
Sometimes you gotta
Yeah.
fuck up. Sometimes you have to make the mistake though.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
Yeah.
And I mean, I learned because I was in prep in 2022, right before I got pregnant with Henry. And speaking like what you were talking about, Phil, Pearl, I I didn't think I had measured much in front of her, but obviously I had. And she had a tape measure. I was in the kitchen, she had it around her stomach, and then she just started bawling
Mhm.
that she was too big to fit in her leotard, and she wasn't. Like, I just remember, like, I was already in the depths, but I pulled out of that prep, actually. Like, it was so much on me. I was like,
I was super
my
proud of that, by the
my
way. Like,
do
I
what?
know I never said a word to you about it, but, like, I was really proud of, like, you recognizing there were other things that were more important, and then it's been like, "Fuck this prep."
Yeah, like, nothing's more important to me. For me, it's my kids. Like, I love my husband, but, like, my kids are gonna always trump, and, like, "Fuck you, Jake," but I love my kids. But that's important to me, and especially as a little girl, not that boys can't get eating disorders or, I'm sure they deal with similar,
Girls
but
are exposed to it a lot younger. Like the average age that a girl is first exposed to like body awareness, like,
yeah.
potentially exposed to eating disorders, it's 7.
And socially, it's so much deeper for women than it is for men. Like, how many men can be fat and old and bald and have a fucking stupid looking mustache, but they still got a hot young wife, you know?
Yeah. No, it's true. Or even if you think about the professional, someone's a lot more likely to hire an overweight male trainer than an overweight female trainer.
Or a hot young husband,
Yeah.
you know? Whatever. I'm not here to judge. What you do is what you do. Yeah.
I think the most extreme that I ever got was using fitness as my only real kind of escape slash coping mechanism.
Yeah.
Um, it was whenever my dad was going through cancer, and at the same time that my dad was going through cancer, because I was running the family business by myself and working really long hours,
I didn't know that.
the girl I was engaged to said, "Well, you don't have time for our relationship, so I'm out." So it was like my dad's
Guessing that wasn't
mortality.
Nikki.
Yeah, no, hell no. So it was like my dad's mortality
Yeah.
plus also running the family business, and this was 2010, 2011. So like my mom's in the mortgage industry. You want to know years to not be in the mortgage industry? Right then. So like I had the financial responsibility of keeping the business going to support their house, but also my lucky self had just bought a townhouse that I was renovating to live in. So I also had to keep that going. So I was in the gym legitimately 7 days a week, but that's because I told myself I'm going to set an hour aside. Whenever I do drive home, I'm going to set an hour aside to go into the gym. And there was times where I'm just walking on a treadmill. I could have done a walk outside and that would have been a lot healthier, probably. No probably about it. But I used the hour 7 days a week as like, this is my only real escape.
Yeah.
And then the problem became once everything was kind of settled, like, okay, my dad's health is back. I'm not working crazy hours. I'm moved on from the ex. I still had that habit going for a while. And then you realize, well, things are better. And I'm sitting here lonely as hell by myself. Like I'd come home from work and like one of the saddest things about living by yourself, if you're a golden retriever socially like I am, is like you come home and it's like, I am not going to say another word to anyone for the rest of the night and no one's going to say anything to me. And now I'm sitting here by
Yeah.
myself. I
God, I
hated
miss
that.
those days.
Why do you think I love my kids so much? Because they don't stop talking. I'm like, yes, my little friends are home now.
My little friends are home. Me, sometimes I'm like, kids, go find something to do before your mom loses her shit.
I don't have any kids, so I don't have that problem.
It's
Fucking
not that often, but every now and then
so,
it goes too
like,
far.
there's a balancing act here, right? Because to say that it's always bad, I don't think is fair. There are plenty of people where, and clients now, where they'll just be fucking going through it. Like life is fucking tough. Like the shit is raining down. I'm like, look, man, I don't want the gym to be your only thing, but like right now, it can be one of our big things. Like, it
Yeah.
can be stable. It can be the thing that we know we can depend on. It can be the thing that we know we can control, and when so much other stuff is in chaos, this can be our little semblance of peace, the eye within the storm, so to speak. We don't wanna do that forever, but, like, there are gonna be times where that is a net benefit. Um, Man, we've talked a lot about, like, the internal stuff, like, looking at ourselves and, like, owning what we're doing. What about, like, when it's somebody else that's just being a fuckhole? Like, when they're actually being a shit about it, you
Well, I
I
know?
think that's
think
one of the best ways to care about someone is to bring up like, dude, you're you're
you're a
messing up
dick.
on this.
Yeah. I think it comes down to how important is that person to you and how much is it worth your space. If it's somebody you don't really care about, just distance yourself for a moment. If that brings you more peace, just to let it go and it's like, you know what, I'm just not gonna hang out with that person as much. I think there's a lot to be said about that. Now, if it's somebody you care about, I think like Phil said, saying like, hey, you may not realize it, but like you're hurting my feelings or you're pissing me off or whatever it is, like I'm gonna punch you in the face. Something you can bring it up. Now if it's somebody you really love and they continue after you ask them and it's been very clear, even in a nice way. I haven't run into that myself personally. Mostly probably because of people who just decide they don't want to hear my mouth. But um does anybody have advice for that? I may not be the person for advice when someone's not getting it because I'm pretty clear.
So what I've found is whenever it is somebody that you really, really deeply care about and they're just not understanding of like, hey, I'm doing this fitness thing now. I'm focusing on improving my health because and then you lay out the reasons. Because if you just say, well, I want to look good in a bikini for vacation, like the response I've always gotten is, "Phil, you're too hairy for a bikini."
I
But
think that is bullshit.
well,
I
put it up on Instagram.
You are just hairy enough, by the way.
Yo!
But like, if you only give somebody like a service level reason for why you're making this big change, this like
Yeah.
180, then they're going to think that this isn't anything real. This isn't anything meaningful. Like, oh, you're just trying to lose a little bit of weight so you look good for the beach this year. And then after 4th of July, you're going to just plump back up. Well, why are you bothering doing this? Because in a year, you're not going to know that you ever did that in the first place. Like, I've had people say that to me whenever I didn't understand I needed to express my deeper rooted reason for why am I doing this. So if it's competing, hey, I'm doing this because I want to push myself to a level that I've never challenged myself before. I want to be able to just say, this is the hard work that I put in. There's no defense whenever you're on stage. It's just, I didn't miss a meal. I didn't miss a workout. I didn't I didn't miss a cardio session. I watched my recovery. I drank my water. I did all these hard things that one or two of these is hard enough for the average person to do, but I want to do this so that I can either inspire my future self or I can inspire somebody around me, or I want to do this because insert reason. And whenever you give someone a deep reason like that, if they still don't get it, then and if it's somebody that you go, "Hey, I really love you. You're hurting my feelings though. You're making me feel some kind of way about this," then all healthy relationships have boundaries. You might need to just put a boundary up and just tell this person, "Look, this is really important to me. I've tried talking to you about this. I'm going to just take the mature route and I hope you can understand this someday. But right now, I need to really minimize my communication with you. And if this shakes you to the point of realizing just some of the impact you've been having on me and what my goals are, then maybe we can change that. Maybe we don't have to put a distance between us, but for now, I need to just create some space here."
I
I think
think so I don't think the first thing should be the boundary of like, "Hey, go fuck yourself for a bit." Okay? Um, I think obviously the first boundary should be like, maybe you treat it like what people say we're supposed to treat politics at dinner conversation, right? We don't fucking talk about politics. All right. Maybe we don't fucking talk about fitness at Thanksgiving. Maybe we don't fucking talk about fitness at family dinner, right? And so, like, you ain't got nothing nice to say about it. You don't get it. You don't agree with it. Cool. You want to live a different lifestyle. Cool. I want to live a different lifestyle. So maybe we just talk about the stuff that like brings us together and we try and avoid the stuff that pulls us apart. And if you can't fucking deal with that, if you have to bring it up every single time, you got to open your mouth, then I think is when you start looking at, okay, well, maybe I don't go to as many things, or maybe I start, changing some of those things. Um, Man, I feel like because we all know this to some degree, like, we all share this idea that, like, when you care about somebody, and you guys will understand what I'm talking about, you want to try and help them. You want to try and give them feedback to help them improve. Like, you want to find that resolution to the static that's getting put in there. Um and I don't know anybody that has ever left a relationship, a friendship, a romantic relationship, a family relationship, whatever, and cut somebody off that where if they didn't try to do something to improve that static, that frustration, that they didn't regret it. Because it's one of the big things you don't, and one of the big things you don't want to do, and we're talking about non-abusive relationships. So let's just go ahead and say that. Because when you do, you're like, look, man, like I was honest with them. I gave them my feedback and they chose to continue doing what they were going to do. They chose to continue doing something that harmed me in some way, shape, or form. Like,
Yeah, I've found asking questions is a really good way to shut someone down. And what I mean by that is anytime, whether it's food related, fitness related, relationship, whatever it is, if somebody says something out of pocket or that hurts your feelings, you can simply say, "What makes you think that?" Or "What would make you say that?" Or what because making somebody say out loud how fucking stupid they sound is typically a really good way without you having to do it. I do that I feel like I do that a lot in my everyday life. But it's a good way where you don't have to get confrontational necessarily and you don't have to look like the bad guy, but it makes somebody because sometimes people say things too, and I think sometimes people are joking, but they just maybe didn't realize what's a joke to one may not be a joke to all.
I get in
Um,
trouble with that sometimes with my
I
wife.
do too. That's why I said it. I often get in trouble for that. So sometimes, but if I do say something and somebody turns around, I'm like, oh shit, I'm sorry. Like I'll say sorry quick if I realize like, okay, wrong person, wrong time, or just wrong time, or I say
It's
the
it's
quiet parts out
maturity.
loud.
I don't have maturity though. But
Yeah. So
I think one of
those
the other
are the
things, like Phil hit the nail on the head. Also, is like having a a deeper reason. Uh,
yes.
because like superficial reasonings are going to create superficial responses and superficial interpretations. And so we can want to look differently. And I saw something on social media the other day. Some guy was like, no, that's a great reason. I want what I see in the mirror to. I want to like that. I'm like, yeah, that's a good reason. Realistically, your mindset can change on that without your physique changing. Right? It doesn't have to be the same thing. You could just change your opinions. It's easier said than done. I get it. I don't think that only having the goal of physique, I want a six pack. I just want to be someone that, like, when people walk by and their mouths start to water, you know what I mean? Those aren't.
Well,
Uh,
I'm
the
40.
trick
It
to
ain't gonna
that
happen for me now.
I want
the
blood
trick to
pressure
that
cannibalism. when I walk by.
is you have to have a steak flavored perfume or cologne, and people's
Oh.
mouths will
So if
water
I
when you
smell
walk
like
by.
meat.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, I smell like meat, let me tell you. Not good meat, but, like,
Okay.
have you ever even heard of somebody giving the guy in his 60s and 70s that's doing, like, the little kettlebell exercises and doing stuff, like, "Well, why are you exercising?" He's like, "Oh, I wanna be able to pick up my grandkids and play with them." Like,
Right.
nobody fucks with that shit. So when you, like, dig deeper, it fucking changes the narrative so hard on people.
Yeah, and when you're only going after physical, like, don't get me wrong, like, I like to look good, I like to feel good in my clothes, those things are important to me, but I am full not pulling it off, Steven. I am fully aware that there's going to be a day where no matter how hard I work, I'm not gonna be, like, magazine hot, right? Like, I'm
Gravity
40
will take its
now.
toll one day to all of us in one way or
Yes,
another.
and so
I'm going to be magazine hot until the day I die.
treating people like shit because you want a six-pack might not be the best plan. But also people treating you like shit's not the best plan either. But if you can find any other reason outside of your physical appearance that you like to train or eat healthier, it's gonna get a lot more. You're gonna get a lot more bang for your buck with, coaching. Because why are you paying for coaching if you only want a six pack for this vacation and then you plan on going exactly back to the way you were? In my more mature brain, I can't fathom what would be the point of that. To
So
spend
that's a great thing to bring up is like the long term, the after for like why are you focusing on this goal? Because that's like one of the first conversations I have with clients because I think we all get pretty much the same like initially people are just kind of putting like a wall up whenever they're talking with their coach or a
yeah,
potential coach for the first time of like
I Kool-Aid
what
man that shit from second one, motherfucker.
so
Mhm.
like okay so what are your goals? Well, I want to lose body fat. Okay, why? Well, I'd like to be confident whenever we take family pictures at the beach this year. I don't want to have to put a cover up on or I don't have to put a shirt on. Okay, why do you want that? Why is that important to you that whenever you take the photo, you're able to take the photo just as is without putting on a shirt, putting on a cover up, whatever. Why is that important to you? It's the same thing if somebody said, well, I want to make $1 million a year so I can buy my dream car. Okay, your dream car is a Bugatti Veyron. Awesome. Awesome car, badass car.
I don't even know what it looks like.
It's one of the fastest production cars in the world. But it's like,
What color
why
is it?
do you want that car? What's going to change in your life? Well, if I have that car, people will think I'm successful. Okay, well, if I have six pack abs, people are going to think that, I'm super disciplined and I'm motivated. I'm an elite level individual. Okay, and what happens whenever people think that you're successful or that you're successful with your fitness goals? Well, I'm probably going to have more friends or people are going to want to be around me more or they're going to
People will
listen
treat me
to me
better.
more. People are going to treat me better.
Mhm.
I'm going to have more friends. Okay, so what you want is an improvement in the quality of your life. You want friendship. You want to be respected. You want these things. Yet I can find you people that have countless friends that are 400 pounds. I can find you people that have tons of confidence that they're driving around in a 30-year-old Honda Civic that's 5 different colors.
Well, also, like, I think one of the things and I know I'm cutting you off, I'm sorry, buddy. Like, this
No,
makes
you're
me
not.
think of Chris Farley. Everybody fucking loved Chris Farley, but he obviously like, so on the outside, he's successful, he's famous, he has all these things, but he wasn't fucking happy. Like, and I think this is like, the hard part is that there's this association with, like, the six pack or being leaner or, not having to feel like you have to wear a shirt, that it makes life better. And I think being healthier absolutely makes life better. Fuck yes. Hard yeah. 10 for 10. Let's go. But the line at which healthy stops is the one I think most people don't
Yeah.
recognize.
Yeah. And we usually, I don't see that a whole lot in lifestyle clients occasionally, but it happens more to competitive bodybuilders. either while they're currently actively competing or even sometimes after. I think they get caught up in that spiral. You're getting lots of attention and lots of people are proud of you. They're always asking when your next show is, or asking, and it keeps you a way of keeping things going. I think it keeps people in the sport longer than they even want to be sometimes. Uh, so I think that
So I almost mentioned this because I think all three of us have um, a fairly realistic viewpoint on the sport. Like we've seen a good amount of very depth of the sport and like what it entails and all that kind of stuff. And all three of us still have positive opinions of the sport, but there are most certainly a lot of people who are, I think, taken advantage of to some degree, and maybe they're doing the same to others to stay in a cycle that doesn't support them. And so, like, it's just fucking tough because, again, I think it comes with like where is that line? Because if you have somebody that's doing shows year round, always lean, are they healthy? I mean, maybe with the medications that they're taking on, with that, like, um, but
and having boundaries with your coach is important too in this same conversation aspect, because I know for me, uh, competed. I don't know what year it was. Anyway, I competed. I did a few shows, and I ended up trying to make myself throw up. I realized, nope, this is fucked. I got to get out of this prep. I'm done for the season. I had done. I think that was the year I did like 7 shows, and so I ended up. It happened like right before peak week, and so I told my coach like, "Hey, this is what happened. Whatever. We dealt with that." Um, but I realized like right after that last show, my coach even knowing like, "Okay, now we're headed to nationals." I'm like, "No, we're not. No, we're not headed anywhere. I'm done." So advocating for yourself too, because sometimes, and it could be a perception of maybe your coach, if I wasn't maybe vocal enough about how much it affected me, what led up to it, even though I think me as a coach, if my client ever said it to me, I'd be like, we're done, we're out of prep, we're done. Like, you know, but just being really vocal about how what you're going through and how you're feeling helps some of that bodybuilding trajectory too. Cause I think sometimes coaches push their clients, especially if they're a good client, doing good, getting them business. Sometimes I think coaches push them to do more shows that maybe they necessarily shouldn't be doing.
I would say I know they do.
Yes.
Um, like, and I get it. I understand the allure of somebody is competing and they're doing well, and it makes you look good, and you're getting inquiries from it, and people are coming to you, and you're like, "Oh shit! Like I'm making money off this. I want this to keep going." And that is a hard thing to stop. To be like, "Hey, like we need to stop. I know that like we're feeling good about this right now. I want to end on that note where we're still feeling good about it, not where now we're feeling bad about it." But again, even that, people are like, "Oh, what are you gonna fucking you want to be the next Phil Heath?" It's like, bro, Phil Heath is like fucking 3 of me and 4 inches shorter at his prime, homie. I promise that's not gonna be it. I'm bigger now than I was prior. People used to ask me if I was doing steroids. I was like, no.
I
Like,
wish
what?
somebody would ask me if I was doing
Fuck
steroids.
yeah,
That's
me
the
too.
biggest
I've done
compliment.
steroids and still nobody asked me if I've done steroids.
Woof. Fucking woof.
Fuck.
Can't do enough, Kaylee. Triple it. You had rookie numbers pumping.
But
I
and you
remember
gotta
my
think
first show, we checked into the hotel. Jake had never competed in his life, and they look at him and go, "You competing this weekend?" I was like, "What the fuck?"
I mean, that was a long time ago. Things were different
I
back
know,
then.
2014, yeah.
The division was different back then.
Bikini was like this tiny.
Yeah. But and, it's important though to I think again, and this comes down to Phil's point from earlier, like you have to dig deeper. If I tell people, "Oh, I just want bigger arms," like I didn't I wanted to be bigger and stronger. You're like, "Well, that's fucking dumb. Like why do you need to be bigger and stronger?" But I didn't want to tell them because I want to feel like I can protect myself. I want to feel like I'm able to not have to worry about being victimized on stuff. You tell people
Next
that,
time I
like,
see you, I'm gonna try to victimize you. Let's see if you could protect yourself.
right. But like you tell somebody that, like, oh, well, like, there's stuff in my history. I just want to feel I don't want to have the anxiety of feeling like I might be a victim just out in my day
Yeah,
to day.
yeah.
It's like, oh fuck. I didn't know you felt that way. Holy shit. But that also, man, that's hard to be
Hard to open up like that to
that
get to that
transparent.
deep layer. And, I think that it's one of those things men tend to struggle a lot more opening up about that sort of stuff with showing vulnerability. Jeez, Kaylee, just knocking out. You're like part cat.
What?
You're like part cat, just knocking over half the
You gotta
shit
get
on
one
your
of
desk
those camel packs. Then I can just suck on a little straw
Yeah.
right in the
like a
pocket.
But
hamster.
like, we're talking about family. We're talking about close family and friends here.
But it can be hard to open up to those people because now you're also getting that pressure of like, hey, I'm finally being vulnerable with you about something that I've known you potentially my entire life, and I've not felt comfortable saying that to you. And now here I am finally, like, I'm forced to say it, or I'm finally comfortable enough to say it to you. What's the judgment going to be now? There's a lot of anxiety that can come from opening up about that sort of stuff.
And
And I
I would say
think
that the response there tells you a lot of what you could possibly need to know.
yeah,
That makes there are certain things that I've had happen in relationships in my life where even like making a huge change in the dynamic of that. Um, we're like, okay, cool, this is gonna be hard, but I think we're gonna work through this. One set of words can come out and be like, oh fuck, this was never what I thought it was. You were never who I thought you were.
yeah,
And now it's just fucking now you get to move on with
yeah.
confidence.
I think too, if somebody ever says something to you that hurts your feelings or makes you angry, I think sitting for a minute and thinking to yourself, why did it make me feel that way? So, for example, right now, if somebody's like, oh, you're obsessed with food or you track macros or all you care about, you want to be in shape, I'd be like, yeah, I know. Like, yeah, I want to be in shape. Like, it wouldn't bother me, right? But when I first started, it would bother me at first because I think I wasn't quite sure, like, is this my new identity? Am I still the partier or am I a bodybuilder? Am I, So I think taking note of how you feel when people say things can help you know, did you pick the right why too? Because if you did and you're in it for, a good reason or a reason that's going to keep you in it longer, I guess, or stick to your healthy lifestyle, things like that will stop bothering you more and more the more you get into that identity.
And to be fair, like not everybody has to agree with your why.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, I agree.
I think
Not everybody
that
has to like that shit.
the the takeaway I also carry to add on to what you're saying, Kaylee, from Atomic Habits is the more days you have in alignment with what that goal version of yourself is, the more votes that you cast for that's your new identity. And somebody might only need like a week worth of casting that vote every day of, oh, this is who I am. I track my macros and I make time for my workouts and I practice stress management and
I play shitty guitar.
like it might also
Play
take
shitty
someone
guitar.
months. Well,
Dude, just
anyone
follow
can
him.
play shitty
Just
guitar,
playing
Kaylee.
shitty guitar is the fucking easiest thing. Just buy a
You can
guitar and
do
amp. You're
this.
good. Win.
Kaylee,
Guitar.
I believe you can be as shitty at guitar as you want to be right
Fuck
now.
yeah. See, we
I
believe in you.
believe I can be too.
Yeah, and so m- maybe we end on this because I know you guys got to go pick up kids here soon. Like, we are all well aware of this too. Again, it's like what you say is important to you. Should your actions should back that up. So if you're always saying that something's important to you and your actions never back it up, like then you need to change your actions or you need to admit that that's not that important to you. And so this is where I think that identity pull kind of happens for a lot of
The
people.
cognitive dissonance, yeah.
Yeah, where it's like, okay, well, I say that is what it's really, or I have said throughout my life, it's really important for me to go out and have a good time at night with my friends and drink and fucking just let loose. And now I feel weird because I'm not interested in that as much anymore. And what's important to me, like that's still important to me, but this is also important to me. And now these things don't drive as well. And I got to figure that out. And that's like, again, you have to decide what's going to win, what's more important. And that's where I think, doing that deeper delve into your why it
Yeah.
is super important and beneficial.
I'll also add this on now that like the closer I get to 40, I have deeper, better quality friendships and relationships with the people around me that I go have breakfast hangouts with than what I ever had in terms of quality of friendship, quality of relationship, the people that I'd go out and drink with every Friday and Saturday night.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough. We have real conversations now, and that scares me. We don't
I
have
know.
breakfast, Phil and I.
Growing
We
up
don't.
is fun.
You know what
Adulting.
rips?
Do what?
You know what rips? Have you seen that guy?
You
Oh, I
guys always
love
watch dumb shit I haven't seen.
Yeah.
well, no, it's just this dude that he sounds like the turtle from Finding Nemo.
Mhm.
Where he's like, "You wanna know once you're in your 30s what rips? Sweatpants. Like, I used to not be about them, but now I'm like, dude, some good comfy sweats."
The
Like,
one
hell
nice
yeah.
thing about getting older is the older you get, the less fucks you give. You just realize so many things aren't as important as you used to think.
So many fucks that I don't give. So many.